Hello everybody, this is Trevor Truck ASMR, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. Now I just want to put in a little disclaimer. While I do intend to make this video as relaxing as possible, this is a little bit of a different format, especially for this channel. I am not so much going to be doing a playthrough. It's more going to be like a review of my experience so far with Infinity Nikki 1.5. This video is going to be a real mix of different footage that I've filmed from my experience of this particular update to the game, and it's just my 2 cents. Take it with a grain of salt, but this is going to be a review of 1.5, and it's going to be, I would say, as balanced as I can make it. There's a lot of negative, and there's a few things that I do like, but if we can't be honest about how we feel about games, then games are never going to improve, and that's also a big reason why I would like to add in my own opinion regarding this game in its current state. So, for those who don't know, Infinity Nikki is a gacha game, but it's an open world exploration game with a defined story and lovable characters, a very great, beautiful atmosphere, amazing, stellar graphics. There's just so much to love about this game, and honestly, it was the way that this game looked that drew me to it in the first place. You know, I'm not really so hot on the gacha stuff, I'll be honest with you, but when I saw the first trailer and the first preview of the game, I was won over. And it's just a cozy type of game. There's nothing too serious there, you know. The story is whimsical, but it has its dark moments too. To be honest with you, I'm not even done with the main story. And I'm gonna discuss my thoughts on the story in a little bit here, but it has all the makings, all the components and ingredients of a great game that people can keep coming back to, which is why making a review like this is all the more heartbreaking when you realize that in one single update they have completely flipped so much. Like they flipped the table and everything on the table fell off and broke. And we're gonna discuss this in this review here. So I think the best place to get started would be the story. But before we get there, I just want to say again, I make this review because this is a game that I like. This is a game that I like to play, and I don't like to see it go downhill. But sometimes the only way to see games get better or improve mistakes is to just point them out and be honest about them. So that is what I am going to attempt to do. Granted, I'm not going to be able to cover all of the problems that people have had with this game, but I will talk about the things that definitely bother me the most. There are plenty of other content creators who cover a lot of the other issues that I won't even touch upon in this video. But let's dig into an overview of what's been going wrong with this game now. .5. It was meant to be an epic update, but it launched with some real problems. One of the big problems, of course, was that some of the new outfits were 11 pieces instead of the standard 9, which means you would have to roll more, which means if you want to make sure you get everything, you'd have to potentially buy more diamonds, spend more money for 11 pieces instead of 9. A real bummer, of course. And then the company, Infold, made a promise. And their promise was, you'll never have to roll for an outfit that is more than 11 pieces. Wow. That is such a consolation. That gets to the heart of the problem. I feel better already. Let me spend $1,000+ on this game right away. And of course, that whole thing is just crappy. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't spend money on gacha games on principle. But still, I do feel for the people who do spend money, and now they see the potential max rolls has shifted upward dramatically. And let's take a moment now to talk about the story, because the story has changed. So when you start up the game, whether you're a new player or a returning player, when you start up the game for the first time, you are greeted with this new cutscene. And this cutscene is very different from the very first cutscene that plays when you started the game back when this first came out. This new cutscene displays Nikki in a state of utter confusion in this strange world known as the Sea of Stars. Essentially, it is where past, present, and future meets together. We're going into some real timeline, time machine type shit. And essentially, Nikki meets this woman whose name is the Seer. And the Seer has witnessed the destruction of multiple worlds, and it all happens the same way. Nikki cannot contain or control this thing called the Heart of Infinity. And this is a powerful thing that is inside of Nikki. She can't control it, it overtakes her, and worlds are destroyed as a result. And I guess, if I'm understanding the story correctly, this has happened multiple times, and the Seer has had to witness it. And apparently the Seer takes Nikki away. Alright. Takes Nikki to this place, and tries to explain to her everything, and I feel the way that Nikki appears during these scenes, just confused, lost. And don't get me wrong, the visuals are nice and everything looks really good, but apparently multiple worlds have been destroyed, different Mirrorlands have been destroyed. Apparently the Mirrorland that we've been playing on hasn't been destroyed yet. Again, if I'm understanding correctly. It's a lot to take in, and it's definitely not as simple and as concise and as desired as the original intro, which was a lot more, shall we say, optimistic. In the original intro, you and Momo, Nikki and Momo are up in the attic and they're searching around, going through things, and then the special dress starts to come alive, and for those who remember the scene, it started to dance with Nikki, and then finally it took Nikki into Mirrorland, where you had a nice, very good, very concise tutorial on how to play the game, and then you met Aina, who essentially granted Nikki, I think she granted Nikki the Heart of Infinity. And then Nikki went to Mirrorland. And this new story just doesn't have the same heart. I also kind of felt bad for Nikki because I guess she starts to recall the fact that she has destroyed worlds or something like that. It's all so confusing. It's unclear where the narration is taking things, and once you end up in the Sea of Stars, the problem is it's just like you're kind of dropped off into this place. You don't know what's going on. The explanations are very narrow. The Seer isn't giving you all the information you need. And again, it's unclear where this story is going. I don't know why they took away the original introduction everyone seems to like that better. I think I like that better because I could at least comprehend that a little bit better than this new one that they have. So that's just my 2 cents. Let's take a look now at the Sea of Stars. I have some footage of me that I recorded before this narration, so just want to take a little look at that and give it a pretty fair review. You know, we'll give it a fair shake and see what it's all about here. This place, I mean, just look at it. This place is absolutely stunning. If you have a PC that can run this game, you'll notice how much detail and how much thought is put into the design. You can go straight up to this tower. You can look out at the ocean. I mean, just look at this backdrop. Got some mountains. You know, the lighting is pretty cool. And this place just seems like a little piece of heaven. A little paradise, right? I will say this. They managed to make a great rendition of this place called the Sea of Stars. So I don't have any criticisms about the way that this place looks. But my main criticism has to do with the fact that, I mean, just look around. This place is so devoid of life. It's nice to look at. You know, I like the sounds, I like the visuals, but it's devoid of life. Where are the mobs? Where are the NPCs? Where are the wild animals? Where are the S-lings that I can battle? Where? We have different activities that we can do. And these are activities that you can do with a friend or a random Nikki that you find. Yes, because, as I mentioned before, this game does have multiplayer capabilities now, which seems like a pretty huge thing. So, I'm just gonna go up to this Nikki here. You see, this is an actual... We're supposed to believe that this is an actual player, and I don't know how likely it is that a player would just be standing around for hours at a time. This silhouette has been here for a long time. But the way that this multiplayer function works is you go up to a Nikki and you press F. You send a request to illuminate. Alright. Hey, this is post-production Trevor here. What if I told you that this multiplayer concept, this infrastructure of the multiplayer, has actually been kind of done before in a previous game? And I wonder how much of Infinity Nikki's multiplayer was quote-unquote inspired by it. Let's take a look at some old footage from an old video that I released. Let's try this. Friendship. Thank you. Thank you for your friendship. I'm not going to accuse Infold of outright copying, but the similarities are just a little bit uncanny. And it's really disappointing because up until now, I have seen Infinity Nikki be super creative and super original and a system, a game, a design that stands out among the crowd, especially with gachas. But just to see how similar these games are as far as multiplayer functions, it's just a little bit disappointing. But anyway, that's just a little side note, so let's continue. Wait in, come on. Accept my request, please. Accept my request, please. Okay, there we go. Request canceled. If there's no mobs, if there's no S-lings, if there's no animals, if there's no NPCs to interact with other than the lady who brought us here, then there's gotta be some pretty damn fun activities, right? Well, here's one of them. Let me show you how this one works. Okay, that's how that one works. This, to me, is probably the most hilarious of the things that you can do on the island. You can get on a seesaw. And of course, if you don't have a partner, it doesn't really work. And this here is riveting gameplay of a functional seesaw. The pinnacle of gaming has been achieved in this game, right? God help me. There's also a mini game where you can pick up star shards and put them into things, and you can do this with your friends. Yeah, exciting. Oops, did you see that lag? It lagged a little bit. That's because it's loading up this masterpiece of gaming right here. Now, you might see this and you might think, what's going on? Is there some type of weird lab experimentation going on? No, this is just another mini game that the game has. And you're gonna love this, because guess what? You get to live out your fantasy, playing as one of the cute animal NPCs of the game. Now look, I had mentioned before that there were no NPCs on this island. I guess that technically isn't true, because you see, these are the NPCs here. But here's the thing, they can't go anywhere. If you're a squirrel, wouldn't it be fun to walk through the island as a squirrel, right? Oh, but guess what? You can't. No, because if you want to turn into an animal and prance around as an animal, you can only do it in this circle. There are no obstacles, there's no pet food, there's no water, there's no grass, there's no wilderness. It is cold, empty, clinical, and frankly, not the most entertaining thing. I mean, sure, I guess it's fun to walk around as a dog. You can transform into another animal. Oh look, there's another player. God forbid you have any players in the Sea of Stars. But you can keep transforming. Oh look, I turned into a dog again. How about now? Did I reach my transformation limit? It's weird how it's not working. Oh look, I'm a cat. Oh, if you press the space bar, look what happens. So, it's kind of cool to see that there are other players here. I thought I was alone in this empty world, but no. As you can see, there is another player, but I'm just gonna be real with you. This is the extent of what you can do in this animal minigame. I mean, there's no... Is it fun to walk really slowly, playing as an animal like this? Is this really what the players were asking for? Oh, look. This is the extent of the animal minigame. It's all you can do. Remember what I said before about this place feeling empty? This place is empty. It's emptiness personified. This star right here serves only one purpose. You go to it, okay, and you can leave. You can actually leave a message to other people. If you want to be insincere, you can pick a pre-recorded message or a pre-written message, right? You can add a photo if you want, and you can actually add a gift. Of course, you can only put one thing in there, so don't know how useful that really is, but then you can send it, and there you go. And then, kind of like with Animal Crossing, these bottles will show up, and then you can collect them and grab whatever gift that the person sent. Then of course you have this right here. No, this is not the King James Bible. This is actually the lookbook. And basically it's other stylists or other Nickies who share their coloring schemes. Crap like that. I'm not actually going to open it up though. Not right now. When it all comes down to it, the multiplayer / co-op is barren. There's not much fun to be had with other players. But to be fair, I will say the two most useful functions come down to the ability to have a textual chat and the ability to essentially set up your props and take photos with other players. The group photo function actually does, it does fairly well, honestly. So I think those are the two bright spots when it comes to multiplayer. But other than those things, there's really not much else to say, I'll be honest. It's just very, very empty. One of the most anticipated aspects of this new update is the ability to dye the clothing pieces that Nikki wears. And it seems like a very simple concept, but in my opinion, I think that Infold really fumbled it. They had established a certain method for how dyes were going to work. They were introducing it very slowly, and it looked like it was going to be okay. You just had to collect a bunch of materials, you had to farm, and then you could create dyes from those materials. They decided to scrap that completely and replace the dye system with some type of, gacha-esque currency system that you can use to unlock colors. And the way they've done it is just so backwards that I almost feel like this is probably one of the worst infractions of 1.5. We're going to take a very brief look into why the dye system is so terrible. First of all, this is Nikki in her most basic dress. This is the one that you start out with when the game begins, right? And I've already done one palette. I've already dyed it once. Okay, I'm just going to start a new one to illustrate what this is going to look like. So you click the preset that you want to save it on, and then you hit the dye button. Okay? Now, you'll notice that part of her dress is blinking, which means that you can change this color. Okay? Now, what you're going to notice right off the bat, okay? There are a lot of locked colors, right? You have palettes, so each palette contains some colors there. Now you can unlock those palettes, right? If you use these crystal things here, you can unlock the entirety of the palette, allowing you to be able to color the dress with a lot more options, okay? And it's the same for all of these palettes. As you go further down, you'll notice that, of course, you have to glow up to unlock certain palettes. All of these things just give a bad taste in my mouth. for something as simple as color, it doesn't make sense to put it behind all these things, all these little loopholes that you have to get through. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, you know? Like, you can choose from a limited set of colors, and you can definitely dramatically change the way that certain pieces look, even with the things that, you know, even with the limited palettes that you have right now, right? So if I wanted to make this look a little bit more blue, I would just change different areas. So I will say the dye-in process is very detailed, which is a good thing. I do kind of like that. But yeah, it's very subtle, the pieces of the dress that you can change. But I wanted to try to, we can, you know what, let's make that purple, like that. We could make these like a teal color, and there you go. So you could dye a dress, make it look like that, and then when you're done, you could just hit save, right? Let's say you want to change the hair color. You should be able to do that. I don't see that particular hair though. But you can always change it to this, do another one, and you can change the hair. So if you wanted to change the hair to be blue to match, you can do that. You can even change the glossiness of the hair, which is kind of cool. Make it extra glossy. Then you can save, and that's it. The dye-in system is still a flawed system, because if you unlock the palette, again, if you unlock the palette for Nikki's hair, right? You unlock it for the hair. Let's say you picked another dress, okay? That palette is unlocked for the hair, but it's not going to be unlocked for the dress. So I'm going to illustrate this right now. Let's go back to the hair. We're going to spin the crystals, and we're going to unlock this palette, okay? We unlocked Furball Hug. The entire palette is unlocked, okay? Let's go back to the dress. Okay, we hit dye. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It didn't unlock. So you can't universally unlock the palettes. You have to do it one piece at a time. Isn't that the biggest steaming pile of bullshit? And this is why people are complaining, and even going so far as to boycott this game. I think that this is just not a good look at all. And I think it most certainly needs to be fixed. Well, everybody, if you've stayed on this video for this long, thank you so much. We're about to come to the end. There's a lot more to be said about the game, but I wanna narrow it down to something that is called the Swish and Stitch Soirée. Boy, that's a mouthful. I'm gonna have some trouble saying that. A little bit of a tongue twister there, but this is a multiplayer event where basically you play as your character, dress her up, and then send your Nikki down a runway for other people to watch. It really does make sense that in a game that focuses on fashion, that you would have something like this. In fact, I'm surprised we didn't have something like this earlier, and the fact that it's multiplayer is definitely a good thing. I think this is a feature that many people have probably wanted, but the implementation of it is another of Infold's fumbles. It is empty. It just feels hollow. It feels hollow. It's like a joke that doesn't have a punchline. There's nothing there. You can walk down the runway, you can show off your styles and fashions, but the system there is just hollow and it feels unrewarding. And apparently you can win awards, and I still have not figured that out yet. But instead of me just talking about it for this long, let's show you some footage. Here we go. It is called I think it's the Swish and Stitch Soirée. And this is basically kind of like a way for players to show off their fashion choices. It's Nikki walking down a runway. That's basically what it is. And I'm gonna see what it's like right now. Apparently, you can do it and get rewards, which I've tried it multiple times. I can't say for certain that I've received rewards. But, as you can see, it's completely dead. There were no other Nickies around. Regardless, we're gonna do it anyway, just for the hell of it. So you get to pick different moves, right? You walk down the runway, you pick different moves. You have to join the evening show. So, at least where I live, it's from 20 to 22. So you have a 2-hour window in which to get the actual rewards. Now you can earn different things for participating in the contest. You can earn radiant prisms, you can earn patterns. Oh, you can actually get a new dress too. But, I mean, I guess if you do different things, you can get some more rainbow prisms, which will help you unlock more dyes. So anyway, I'm just going to pick 3 random poses, and then I'm going to sign up. And obviously, I am not playing during the window in which you can get rewards. But here we go. This is the performance. Yeah, so this is basically, I mean, I guess at some point the game has to be about fashion, right? What would actually make this mode a little bit more fun and engaging is if you could be a judge, right? Like you could give a rating of 1 to 10. That would make it a little bit more interesting. Oh, so there's another player. Oh, so this place is actually filling up with players. Okay. So as you can see, this is another player walking down the runway. You can see it happening in real time. Okay. And you can't judge them, but you can step on these things to activate flowers. Again, more engaging gameplay. And then you can essentially watch the other player. I mean, I guess it makes a nice sound for ASMR. And just like that, the contest is over. So, I mean, there goes another Nikki right now. Am I allowed to go on the stage? Let me see. I'll probably get kicked. Yeah, I got kicked. So you can't really go on the stage when someone else is performing, it looks like. So, I mean, again, this is cool and all, but the problem is that it's so empty. And if you've won a reward, I mean, I've done this a couple times and I have yet to win any rewards, or at least I have yet to perceive that I've won any awards. This mode doesn't make it obvious, as far as I have seen before. I don't know. I really don't know. Now, we have some other Nickies that are in this room, which is actually kind of surprising, you know? But what you can do with these other Nickies is try to become their friends, illuminate request sent. Is it gonna happen or not? part of the reason that I made this video is because I feel very strongly about this. Infinity Nikki was a unique game. It provided something different. It looked good, and it was fun, and it was cozy. It was the perfect backdrop for ASMR content, which is the type of content that I normally make. It had everything, and now something happened. Something terrible happened, and I share the disappointment that fans of the game feel. And my reasons for that may not necessarily be the same as everyone's, but I know for a fact that even beyond the predatory gacha elements, which I didn't even talk that much about those, beyond that, the game needs some tender love and care, because it is just, I don't know what happened. I don't know what curse came over the game, but I feel like Infinity Nikki is slowly falling apart. The threads are coming loose. The game is on a gradual decline. The reason why I talk about this is because I have hope that it can get better, and in fact, I want it to get better because I want to keep playing the game. I think if things improve, it's gonna have to take some time. As of recording, there's not really been any response ever since the huge apology letter. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. But it is really sad to see a game that you like go downhill. But all I can say for now is thank you to everyone who took the time to watch this video, whether you play Infinity Nikki or not. And my heart goes out to all the people who can't even access the game in the first place because they're on PS5 or mobile. Anyway, this has all been my opinion, just my 2 cents, throwing it out there. As for the future of the game with regards to the channel, I do intend to edit and release the videos in my storage. And, God willing, I'll complete the main story. What happens after that is anyone's guess. Uncertain the future is, as Yoda would say. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a great day and take good care of yourselves. I'm signing off for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye for now.